Hi there. How to choose the right course for you. If you're at school, you already need to start thinking about subject choices in grade 9 because you're going to pick your subjects for grade 10, 11, and 12, and that will open careers or close careers. But I'm not sure this video is really about that. It's more about you have matric or you don't have matric, but you want to make a career choice, you want to make a study choice, and you want to make sure it's right for you. The advice I always give is you got to start with what you love. I think if you pick a career because you think there's lots of money in that career, but you actually hate the work, that you won't be successful at the career. And I think if you pick a career that's related to something you're interested in, something you're passionate about, something you love, then I think your career will be successful and you're going to find it easy. I'm a proponent of, do more of what you find easy, do less of what you find difficult. Cool. You want to pick a career direction, so where do you start? You have an idea of what you're interested in or you don't. If you don't even have an idea of the kind of career, the kind of work you're interested in, then you really should try to get some job shadowing. Even if you go and work somewhere for free, if you hang out at somebody's workplace and you get to see what the job really is about, that's where you discover things about the world of work that you never knew. So if you have the opportunity, if you have a family member who has a full-time job, to ask that person whether you can't shadow them for a day or 2 days or even a week. And if you're inside a company that will allow you to job shadow, certainly ask them if you can job shadow more than one different jobs. Job shadowing really is you go to work, and the people doing the work are just telling you and teaching you about that specific job they're doing. And you'll quickly see that some of those things for you are way more interesting than others. But that's a good way to determine what is your interest and what's the kind of job that you will actually enjoy. Of course, you also get interest tests. Online you'll find tests that kind of asks you 20, 30, 40 questions and in that way help you determine what is a direction that's your interest and what's a direction that's not your interest. Okay, so you know kind of what direction you want to go into. How do you work on that career? Where do you start? Certainly it helps if you've studied in a career direction, and the primary question of, what can I study is a question of have you passed matric or have you not passed matric? And if you have passed matric, what subjects did you take and what marks did you get? I'll start with people who haven't passed matric. If you haven't passed matric, you are looking for a qualification that you can study where the entrance criteria of that qualification is lower than matric. A favorite of mine, of course, is the Institute of Certified Bookkeepers. They offer bookkeeping, office administration, accounting programs, and if you've passed grade 11, that already gets you entry into those programs. So if you don't have matric, my recommendation is you need to find a thing where matric is not the entry requirement for those studies. Cool. So let's say you have passed matric. The kind of studies that I'm always keen on because they're job related are your NATED programs, your national diplomas. You do an N4 certificate, then you do an N5 certificate, you do your N6 certificate. You have to do 18 months of practical work that's recorded in a logbook. You submit that to the college, we submit that to the Department of Education, and then they issue you with your national diploma. I'm a huge fan of national diplomas because they're work related, because they include practical work experience. I think employers find a person with a national diploma much more job ready. The kind of directions, there's a wide range of different national diplomas you can do. So if we're talking national diplomas, I'm involved with the Bellevue Institute of Distance Learning. We're offering a national diploma in business management, human resources management, marketing management, financial management, legal secretary, management assistants, and also educare. So you can hear that's quite a broad range, and those are, really streams of study in which we know there are jobs available, in which we know there's a demand for trained people in South Africa. So there you are. I hope it helps. To recap, you've got to start off with find what you love. Then you're going to look at your level of education and then find something you can study where you know you can enter with the level of education you already have. I'd love to hear back from you. So maybe in the notes underneath, if you have any other questions about how do I start my career, how do I work on my career, please post your questions and I will make a video to answer you. Tell me about what's worked for you. If you've made some good steps, if you feel you've started a career, you're making progress, please do tell me what are those steps that you've taken. Thank you very much.